Doing another review for my favorite show, The 100. This would be Season 3, Episode 11, entitled Fallen. So I thought tonight's episode was a pretty good episode. I didn't think it was spectacular or amazing or anything like that, but at the same time it wasn't boring or mundane. Just an all-around good episode. So there were three basic storylines. The what was going on Polis, followed by what was going on in Arcadia, and then what was going on with the Resistance. We'll start with the Resistance. So we opening scene where you see Kane and the others are returning from Arcadia, and that they're all depressed because they saw Lincoln get killed. Bellamy, who was in the cave by himself, is like, "Hey, what's going on? Where is Lincoln?" And what turns out to be probably my favorite scene this season, Octavia beats the shit out of him. Just waylays him in the face and just goes on and on and on. Everyone's like trying to get in, and then Bellamy's like, "No, I got this coming to me. Just stay out of it." And she keeps on beating him up. And I was like, yeah, favorite scene. I don't like Bellamy this season. It's his storyline is just kind of stupid. How he kind of bounced around into Pike's corner and then he bounces back out. Anyway, while this is going on, we go back to Arcadia, and this is still part of the Resistance storyline. And Monty meets with his mother, which is, I've been saying Monty needs a storyline. I said, Mama Drama. And we saw that last week where he was on the radio and helping Harper out, and he told Pike to send his people to the gate, and that's when his mother realized he was working with the Resistance. And of course, instead of ratting him out, she backed him up. And we kind of see that again, where she's sitting down with him, and she says, "Pike knows." And she's whispering, trying to keep it secret. And Monty's all shocked like this, and she's like, "You gotta go." And It was a very emotional thing because he wanted, he realized this might be the last time he sees his mother, and his mother's saying, "No, we can't show any emotions." So they ended up just, instead of hugging or kissing her goodbye, just sort of touching their hands together, like. And then he had to take off, and I'm thinking, I think his mom's going to set him up, and that was the case. He goes out there, he contacts Harper, or the Resistance, and says, "Hey, we got to meet up," and they say, "Oh, meet us at the Dropbox." And right away, people are like, "Oh, it's probably a trap." Monty's mom has probably betrayed him, and when we get there, Pike's going to be there. So Kane's like, "Yeah, okay, and I'll go, and I'll take Bellamy as a hostage." And Octavia's like, "I'm coming with you." And the two of them head out to the dropship, where, of course, we find out that it was a trap. Pike had, let Monty think that he was free to go. And then they followed him to the dropship where they got him as a hostage. And, they're going to shoot Kane and Octavia. Octavia has a knife to Bellamy's throat. She's not letting up. So Bellamy does a quick move, gets the blade out of her hands, knocks her to the ground. Of course, now they've all been captured by Pike. And then Pike's like, "How do I know I can trust you?" And Bellamy's like, "I'll take you to the rest of the Resistance." I'm like, oh, here we go. Another trap, another setup. And the way that he did it is he ends up taking Pike, leading him to the borderline where the blockade is, and the Grounders start moving in. Bellamy grabs a gun, puts it to Pike's head, and they say, "Hey, we've got Pike. You guys come in here." Grounders start coming in, shooting people down with arrows. And I think they got the one guy that, like, Gilmer. He's the one who's always whining about his son. "My son died, so I'm going to shoot Lincoln." I think he finally got it. It was kind of hard to tell. But anyway, they hand Pike over to the Grounders. And I gotta say, I was kind of surprised by that. Because I'm thinking that's pretty much the end of the Pike storyline. He's going to be, we'll probably see him in another episode or two, where he's standing trial, and the new commander has him killed. And that's going to be the end of Pike and his little resistance. I mean, not resistance, but his zealot group. And I was kind of, how surprised that they would end that storyline this soon. It's, kind of throws you through a loop. I thought it was going to be a showdown between him and Clark at some point, but instead, this is probably the last we'll see of Pike. He's out of power now, and I get the feeling he's not going to last too many more episodes. But we'll have to see on that. Now, seeing how we brought up Arcadia, let's talk about what was going on. So in the beginning of this episode, we see that Raven is in sort of a little workstation, listening to some loud music. She's going over all of these electronics, and we see Allie is there, and she's fading in and out. And that's because Raven has found some kind of way to block her out of her mind. Of course, Raven wanted to do this after she realized that the chip she had taken had made her forget Finn. She's done with Allie. She doesn't want any part of that. So Allie, Jahan, their little cult, they're trying to figure out what to do. And Jahan suggests give her pain back. That's the reason she took the chip in the first place. And Allie goes along with it. And I thought that was a pretty cool thing. It's like Jahan, he's in line with Allie. He took the chip. He starts believing her, treating her like she's some sort of goddess. Yet at the same time, he's not like a drone. He has his own ideas. He has his own schemes on how to do things. That's sort of like a couple episodes. It was back when they first came to, Arcadia. And they were talking to Pike, and she's trying to tell Jaha all the things he needed to say. But Jaha figured it out on his own. So I do like that element. That Jaha is not just a drone. He's a schemer on his own. And he's going along with Allie, not just because he took the chip, but because he wants to. So anyway, they give the pain back to Raven after she came up with this plan of how to stop them with the bracelets that we saw in season 1 to Abby and Jasper. And when the pain comes back, Raven's freaking out, and they take her to the medical station where they have the one medic who's a part of the chip cult, I guess we'll call it the chip cult. That sounds nice. Anyway, Allie, Raven starts seeing her again, and she's like, if you want the pain to go away, you must submit. And I thought they did this pretty good, because I thought Raven was going to stay with the pain, but she says, no, I will submit. And she submits, and then Allie completely takes over her, where she's even doing the talking when Raven is talking. And then they try to get Abby. They have to knock her out. And then they strap her to a chair. They explain the plan. She's like, I'm not going with it. And then the Allie Raven creature starts saying, oh, is that a fact? Takes a knife, starts slitting Raven's wrist. She says, if you don't take the chip now, you're going to have to watch Raven die. And once again, I thought they did this very well in the episode. They're playing with your expectations. I'm thinking Abby might just say, Raven would have wanted me to say no. But Abby sees Raven passed out, and she's like, no, give me the chip. I got to save Raven. Which she does, which is great, because I love Raven. So now that Abby is part of the chip cult, they're handing out the little computer chips like communion wafers to everyone, and everyone is getting turned into the chip cult drones. Jasper sees this. He goes to Raven, finds her. She's doing the whole Allie Raven talking thing. He knocks her out, puts her in the back of the truck. Everyone's coming to get him. He drives the truck to the gate, and there in his path is Clark. And that was a surprise. Seeing Clark coming back to Arcadia. I thought she was going to take off and try to find Luna. I was not expecting her to get intermixed with this storyline. And Clark's, trying to figure out what's going on. Jasper's just yelling at her to get into the truck. And it's like, Lincoln's dead and the shit has hit the fan. So Clark goes with them and sees that her mother is weird. She's part of the chip cult. So Clark knows the shit has hit the fan. And she's probably going to have to take care of that. And you watch the promos, that's basically what's going to be happening in the next episode, is her teaming up with the Resistance, who now have to resist the chip cult, and figure out how to get all their friends back and stop, evil Allie. Which, of course, is probably going to involve Luna again, finding her, the one with the black blood, and seeing if that chip will work on her. So in the third storyline, we go to Murphy in Polis. He's being chained up by the new commander, Ontario. And there's some kind of kerfuffle with one of her ambassadors from one of the various tribes saying, well, you've got to do the naming ceremony. And then when he leaves, you see Ontario is freaking out about this. That was kind of, it was like, I don't know how to describe this. Like, what are you doing here? It kind of felt like they were doing a 180-degree turn with Ontario. In the last episode, she was chopping heads off, telling people, I'm the new commander. And she's telling the Ice King, go and find Clark and Luna. Right? She's confident. She's, taking power. And in this one, she's like this weak little girl. She's like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I got to name all these names. And of course, Murphy starts talking to her and convincing her, let's go down to Titus's little shack and see if we can find any of the names. And, let's just run a con here. I could be you're a pretend commander. I could be a pretend flame keeper. And she goes with it. She listens to Murphy. And, apparently they couldn't find the names or figure out who the X amount of commanders were, which, for me, it's kind of like a plot hole that the problem with the whole commander line, it's like, how the hell do they not have the names? I mean, part of me thought, they should go to Titus's name. They can probably find a list of names there, but they didn't find it. At the same time, it's like, okay, like, you've only had commanders for about 100 years, unless you've had a shit ton of them, which is a possibility in their society. It's so warlike that people are always overthrowing the government and whatnot. But still, you think people would know who some of the last commanders were. I mean, do you not know Lexa's going to be on that name? I mean, that list? You work backwards. You ask the older people, well, tell me about some of the older commanders. Names. Oh, he was commander before this guy was commander. She was commander before that commander. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you. Right, moving on. But none of that mattered because, Murphy convinced her just to be a bitch and, stand up to this ambassador. What she does, she tells the guy, you know what, I don't care. I'm the last black blood. I killed all the other ones, won the conclave. I'm the new commander. I'm saying we're done with this whole name game thing. Forget about all those other guys and gals. I'm the commander. And then she gorges out the ambassador's eyes. So it worked. She's, now the uncontested commander until, Clark finds Luna. And I do like that Murphy, he's doing what he needs to survive. He's explaining her the big con game. That's why he's one of my favorite characters. He just kind of bounces around. He doesn't get involved in the big storyline. Well, he does. He's getting involved in this one. He does his own thing. That's what I like about Murphy. That's why, maybe if he doesn't go back to Arcadia and keeps, bouncing around in the wilderness, he can take Monty with him and they can go find that gold mine and, Monty can have a storyline with Murphy. Just saying. Also, I gotta say, I was a big fan of the ending with him in Ontario. I was talking about how last week I wanted to ship Montario, Murphy and her. And I got my wish. At the end of it, she chains him back up. And, he's back being a slave. He goes, oh, well, that just hurts my feeling after all the help I gave you. And she starts undressing him from them. So, like, oh, my feelings aren't that hurt that much anymore. And she starts giving him that come hither eye. And he's telling her about, he's got this thing on the side. She goes, oh, well, is she a commander? Would she kill you if you lied to her? And it's like, she's got him over the barrel. And, of course, she's just grabbing that chain and pulling him closer to her. So Murphy's like, well, I got to do what I got to do to survive. Now, I've already seen on social media, some people had a problem with that. They were accusing Ontario of basically raping Murphy. And I'll give them that. They do have some valid points. There is this sort of captor-captive dynamic going there. And, in the real world, that essentially it could be rape because she could have this guy killed if he doesn't put out. And, change to the gender swap it, where it's a guy doing it to a girl, and I think it seemed pretty upsetting. That being said, I wouldn't consider it a rape the way it played out, because Murphy doesn't seem that opposed to it, or that conflicted with it. He just kind of shrugs it off and goes, well, okay. But yeah, all seriousness aside, that is an element of sexual assault rape, where someone basically puts a knife to someone else's throat and says, hey, you don't put out, I'm going to kill you. And then they have to go along with it. Or, like an abuse of authority with like a prison guard and a prisoner. It's like, hey, I can make your life miserable if you don't make mine good. But, let's not take it too seriously, folks. Like I said, the way it played out, I wouldn't consider it rape. So altogether, I would say that this was a very good episode of The 100. They really did play with my expectations. I thought so much was going to happen, and I was so wrong. And I do enjoy when that happens on a TV show, where, they take me by surprise. And, all the storylines that they had worked. And I am looking forward to next week's episode.